tinge marks were barely noticeable, and returned the tapestry to where I had found it, in a crumpled heap on the floor. Thankfully, a hurried look along the corridor in both directions revealed that only the one lamp had come loose from its moorings, something for which we could all be grateful. It was dim in the streets and buildings of Merita, and our lamps were plentiful in number and always burning. Our people would have enough to do in the wake of this tremor without being called upon to put out a large number of fires as well. I hadn't made much more progress toward my father's study when I was once again distracted from my purpose. Ahead, made startling by the streaks of blue through the blonde hair, popped out of a doorway. "Isla!" my sister cried. "Are you hurt?" I gave her an exasperated look. A moment of consideration would make it clear I was uninjured, but it was just like Avalon not to bother looking for herself. She stepped into the corridor, and I was relieved to see she looked to be equally unharmed. But seeing her brought Waverley forcibly to mind. The sister closest to me in age, the one between Avalon and me, had a special raised reading nook in her room that she accessed with a ladder. It was, strangely enough, the only place in her room not covered in books, and it was also her favourite place to be. "Have you checked on Waverley?" Avalon asked, as if reading my mind. "I was just on my way to her." I didn't bother replying. Instead, I took several steps back the way I had come, pushing through our middle sister's door without knocking, Avalon on my heels. "Waverley!" I called, halting just inside. The last time I saw her room, it had been an ordered chaos of books. Now it was just plain chaos. Books spread across every inch of floor, several layers deep. But my sister was paying them no attention, her focus instead on her window which looked out over the city. A chill swept over me. "What is it?" I gave up on trying to find a better way inside and clambered over the books to join her. "The barrier hasn't failed, has it?" "What?" She turned to me, startled, her eyes wide. "No, of course not. That couldn't happen." She looked back at Avalon, who was still lingering at the door. "Could it?" I bit my lip and said nothing, scanning the streets instead. My opinion wasn't a popular one, and Father had forbidden me from speaking of it. Spreading baseless fear, he had called it. And now that my case looked stronger than ever, I found myself reluctant to reply. Waverley was a year older than me, but a great many times more timid, and I shied away from the fear in her eyes now. My own examination of the streets below showed no flooding, no rising seawater coming to wash us away. It did, however, reveal what had caught her attention. I gasped. "The Hall of Meetings!" My words were enough to spur Avalon forward, and she soon joined us at the window. Together we looked out over Merita. The palace was located at the highest point of the vast city, and winding streets spread out below us, lined with stately buildings made of white stone and decorated with shells. The Hall of Meetings stood on the other side of the city to the palace. Its vast bulk usually dominated the view with its distinctive iridescent sheen from the unique polished shells that covered its walls, a mimicry of the ever-present sheen of the surrounding barrier. It still commanded our attention, but no longer because of its grandeur and bulk. The building had collapsed, one of the walls crumbling inward and taking most of the roof with it. Silently we looked from the view to each other. No great meeting of the merfolk had been called, so the building had most likely been empty. I hoped. But that did little to ease the shock. The Hall of Meetings was a symbol for our kingdom and the unity and voice of our people. It stood across from the palace, nearly as imposing as the white marble edifice that was our home, to remind our family that we served the people and not the other way around. And now it had fallen. I stumbled back across the books. I needed to speak to Father. Avalon and Waverley had no real need of me, and our older three sisters didn't have rooms in this wing. No more distractions lay between me and the royal study. When I finally reached it, however, thrusting the door open without ceremony in a way I had often been censured for in the past, I found it empty. I let out a frustrated sigh. Of course it was. My father would not linger here given such happenings. After a moment's indecision, I hurried back out.